Can I tell you, it's a beautiful morning, sunshine in the sky. Actually, it's a little gloomy. I kind of like it that way. But I am glad to see you, D-Roy, today.
Well, it's always good to be seen, Adam. If ever you're not being seen, there might be an issue with you.
Hey, do you know what time it is?
I don't got my new watch out, but
all right.
You want me to check?
No, I'm okay. It's 8:40 a.m. I found it right here. I'm good. I didn't have to see your watch. Don't you have a big, a grandfather clock at your house too?
I do. That's what they call it.
That's what I thought.
Big Ben.
Big Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how we got there, D-Roy. I know we've been working on a few stories. I'll let you drive the train today.
Yeah, we've been kind of going down the path, and yeah, man. I mean, we both just got different things going. We've talked about a lot of things last week. Kind of talked more about Turo. If we go back when we were talking about my trip to California,
Disneyland.
We went and did the Disney. But also, I was talking about how I rented the Turo car. I went down there, and we were talking about collectibles, King Golden, a few weeks back. Do you remember ever hearing of Frank and Son's Collectible Show? Have you ever heard of this place or this thing?
Isn't that one of the things that Jesus got, frankincense?
Yeah, that's kind of similar.
Okay.
Some
myrrh?
It's this business that Jesus started in Southern California.
Okay.
It might be a different kind of Jesus than who you're used to. But,
Jesus.
So I'd heard, again, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I don't know. I read something came up about this Frank and Son's Collectible Show. And in my head, I'm thinking Southern California, kind of like a card show type thing. I thought, it's probably going to be bigger than what I'm used to.
Okay.
But I thought, in my head, I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe I'd heard some things like an old warehouse, and I think dim kind of lighting, and some tables lined up, and I thought it'll be big, but I don't know. I had something pictured in my head.
Okay.
And so we're driving down, and I make good time. Like I don't mess around. Okay. I get in the car, I get there, and that's probably more of my profession than anything. Kind of drives my wife a little nuts, I think. She's stuck with me. But I'm like, hey, we're going to go to the bathroom once, and we're going to fuel up once, and we're going to get there. So I'm down to Southern California by lunchtime. We leave the same day. We're having lunch in California.
I know you raced somebody home, too.
I raced an airplane home, and I beat the airplane. I'll get into that story. I beat an airplane.
Sorry, I know I threw you off.
No,
I remember
a true story. And we're not having a late lunch. We're eating at noon or 1 o'clock in California from leaving from our house in Utah.
Okay.
So I get up early and I get going. Anyway, I said, do you mind if we go over to this collectible show I've heard about? It's called Frank and Sons. I said, it's probably going to be bunch of nerdy guys like me, and it's probably I don't know where it's at, but it's probably like kind of a dingier warehouse type place, from what I could gather. And I'll probably be in there for an hour or so. I don't know if they'll have air conditioning. I don't know the setup, but if I do this and I buy some stuff or I get some relationships, this Disneyland trip might turn into a little bit more of a business trip, and that's always good to have things to write off.
Yes,
when you're talking about rental cars, miles, food, entertainment, that kind of thing. And she's like, yeah, sure. If it's not my scene or whatever, I can hang out in the car or whatever. Okay. So I'll put it in the GPS. We're, hour and a half away, which means I could be 10 miles or 200 in California.
Yeah.
And we get there, and I pull up in this parking lot, and it's like a business, it's like a strip mall.
Okay.
But there's these bigger buildings, almost like Costco looking things. And I'm like, oh, I must be in the wrong spot. The parking lot is packed.
Okay.
Packed out. And I'm thinking, I'm in the wrong spot. I need to be looking for more of a little shop, almost like Phil's. I'm like, maybe it's not as big as I thought. And it's going to be, because on the website, I kind of looked it up. It operates Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So 3 days a week.
Okay.
And I don't know, like I said, I don't know the setup, the structure, whatever. I just know it's a collectible show. Probably got some collectible items. I buy wrestling cards. I sell wrestling cards. There's not a whole lot of that around here. L.A. is the second biggest media market next to New York, so there's going to be a lot more opportunities, I'm thinking, for what I'm after in a bigger market.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a lot more chance of finding what I'm after.
Sure.
And so I get driving around and I see Frank and Sons on this big building. I'm like, what in the, like, where am I? You know, I'm trying to find parking. There's no parking. It is packed. And this is like I'm thinking it's like an old Circuit City store to give you kind of a
nice.
view.
Ooh, I love Circuit City.
You remember Circuit City?
Oh, of course I do.
And they were big buildings.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm driving up and down the aisles. I'm like, well, this is crazy. I don't even know. I mean, and I see a few neckbeards coming out, holding their bags of stuff that kind of look like me, kind of wearing the same shirt. I'm like, yeah, I'm in the right spot. These are people that look like me, and they're probably buying crap I'm after.
Yeah.
So eventually, I just dropped my wife off at the front, and I said, hey, I'm going to find a parking spot, because I went clear to the back to where it's like, if you park here, you get towed. But I'm talking like a Costco-sized parking lot.
Okay.
Full. And, I mean, there's a few other businesses around, but not a lot. So... and I think this was a Saturday.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. It wasn't Wednesday, so I'm thinking it was Saturday, not Sunday. Eventually, I see some people getting ready to leave. They have a wheelchair and things.
Holy crap, that's a big building.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not messing around.
Wow.
And so I'm thinking, oh, man, they're going to be in handicap parking. But then I look, they're not going to handicap parking, but they have a very good stall. So I just pull up, put on my turn signal, and wait 5 minutes to get a parking spot.
Wow.
And... so I go in, I'm like, okay, there's going to be some sort of an entry fee or something like that. Probably $10. I don't know.
Wow.
No entry fee. But how it's set up is people buy booth space, and they have their area, their booths, and they just have whatever they're into.
It's like Quilted Bear.
Like Quilted Bear, like an antiques mall.
Yeah.
And so I walk in there, and I'm like, kid on Christmas morning, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, Bo Jackson's going to be there this weekend. So is Joe Montana and Jerry Rice.
I'm telling you, it's.
How have you not told me about this place?
I'm just telling you about it now. I just went there last week.
Okay.
This is the first time we've talked about it.
All right.
I sent you some pictures from in there.
Wow.
They had all this McDonald's stuff. And I'm like,
oh, yeah, I saw that. Okay.
That was where it was. I'm like,
Gotcha.
somebody, whatever you collect,
it's there.
It's
huh?
there.
Wow.
So I walk in, and I'm like blown away like Adam is here in those pictures, because it's just rows and rows and rows. And one table might have McDonald's collectibles, and that's all they do. And the next table next to it, Disney, and that's all they do. But Disney purses. And then there's Disney backpacks. And then there's Disney cards.
Wow.
And then next to them is baseball cards. And then there's CSG, and there's PSA, and then there's... So I'm just going like, I can't believe it. There's Nintendo. There's Legos. There's... It's insane, really. And I'm just like, I can't believe this. And I'm looking through every booth, because you know me.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, my wife made it more than halfway through before she's like, all right, I'm going to the car. This is just whatever. But I went through every booth, and you're talking to people, and they have their wrestling cards.
Oh, man.
I'm just like, this is like a dream come true for a collectible nerd like myself. And like Adam's saying, they'll bring in people to do signings and things like that.
Wow.
I looked into booth rental because I'm like, maybe I just buy crap here. I go down there 2 days. I work 2 days a week, but down in California, and just sell my stuff.
Yeah,
it's sold out. You can't get a space.
Really?
Wednesday, they work. Yeah, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturdays and Sundays. So 3 days a week, and I mean, it's just insane. And if you're from the California area, you've probably been there before. But just the opportunity, we talk about get what's around you or stuff like that.
Wow.
A lot of us don't have this kind of an opportunity. I mean, they had whatever you were into, there was somebody there selling that stuff. Now, granted, wrestling cards aren't the biggest thing. We've talked about that before. There wasn't as much as I would have thought, but there's still people there selling stuff. And I go to this guy that has some autographed cards and things, and I said, how much for... he had like an Arn Anderson card and some things like that. And he threw out a price, and I was like, that's a little steep. And Arn Anderson doesn't sell a lot of cards. Then I went and looked and saw, well, I'm selling my autographed Arn Anderson cards for... He was comping my prices to me. That's what I was saying. It kind of came back to bite me.
Gotcha.
On some of the stuff that I had, because I'm like...
Did you tell him that that's your card?
No, I didn't do that, but I did tell my wife. I'm like, that was my card that he was trying to sell to me for that price. Because I'm like, it should be... $30 to $50 maybe to have him sign it and stuff. Anyways, but I did end up, I found a guy with a bunch of singles. I think they just kind of did breaks and took out all the autographs and sold those. So I was able to get, $40, $50 worth of cards. Pretty good stuff. I found a guy selling T-shirts, and he had an old vintage Hulk Hogan T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And I was able to talk him down on that. It had some oil stains and stuff on it. But I think if going off, just me assessing the situation, it was a single stitch. And I'm thinking it was from the 90s and the WCW era. It had some things that told me that. So if that's the case and it ends up being that, I could probably sell it for, I don't know, $80 to $100. I picked it up for $15. A few other things. It was a cash-heavy place. I didn't come prepared.
I love my cash.
I didn't come prepared to have this be a buying trip necessarily, so I kind of just showed up to the old proverbial gunfight with a knife or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Don't show up to a knife. What is that? How's that go?
Don't show up to a gunfight with a knife.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right when you say it, though. I think there's a cooler way of saying that.
I you know me. I like to prep while we're already talking here. So we got an away game for USC down there.
You're way ahead of me.
I know, and the thing. This is what I've realized. If we're gonna do that, you got to be the driver, and the stop is gonna be in St. George and in Baker, because there can't be any stops in Nevada because that stack of cash. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I always went in Vegas. But it might dwindle, and we want to show up to the gunfight with guns, not with knives.
You already did one more stop than we're going to make, but
well, I mean, I'm a little different than you. I enjoy a good pizza from a gas station.
You do,
I enjoy the nice,
the nicer things in life, like a Flying J pepperoni.
That's right, or you got to get into the what do you call it? It's this. Not the seasonal, but the regional. You got to get into the regional flavor.
So I already said to my wife, I said, hey, we might be coming down for the USC game.
There's no might about it, my brother.
Well, I said, if that happens, this is going to be a business, a little swing around here.
Yeah.
Preppy and Painter, I don't know if we're going to go Saturday or Sunday. We're probably not going to make it Wednesday.
We got Saturday.
But it depends what time the game is.
Well, we're the West Coast is the best coast. I'm guessing it's a late game. I've been to I don't get me wrong. I love going to football stadiums. I've already been there before. I know where the cookie stand is. We don't need to be there 3 hours early like we were at the Swamp.
You don't know this guy.
Well, I'm just.
Well, driving around L.A. though, I mean, it ain't an easy place to.
Well, I know how to do it though. I got you.
All right.
We'll go to Frank's. We'll get all our stuff. We'll figure out where our hotel is.
We'll park in Compton with all of our valuable stuff in our car.
We'll Uber in. Oh, no. We'll park our car at the Marriott. We'll make sure that we're taken care of. We'll Uber
Marriott,
to the game.
This is getting fancy.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if I'm going, we ain't staying at the Dollar Inn in Prim, Nevada, which I will sell you.
Which is a very nice place.
Results of that trip, that's the kind of friend I am. I believe I saved a life.
I think you did.
I know that I saved a life. I've been on a couple trips with Derek. He's got a CPAP machine. It works for him. Went on another trip with Pelican. I thought he was going to die, literally, and he did. 15 minutes an hour, he was dying. I told him he got to get it taken care of, and he has. And he's a new man. You're welcome.
I'm telling everybody. Sometimes there's a stigma attached with things, or people get made fun of, or whatever. If you snore at night or whatever, you wake up not feeling great, you're a little tired throughout the day. It doesn't mean. I mean, it happens to skinny people as much as fat. Like that's the stigma.
Husky.
The stigma is only for the husky people. Talking with the doctors and stuff, sometimes it's just genetic, whatever. So you might think, well, I'm skinny. It's obviously not sleep apnea or whatever. Go get yourself a sleep test. Like Adam's saying, might save your life. Back in the day, you remember Reggie White and some of those people.
Oh, of course.
Passed peacefully in their sleep.
Yeah.
At 60 years old.
CPAP.
They had sleep apnea, and it wasn't diagnosed, and the guy had a massive heart attack in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Now, we're all going to go at some point, and hopefully we go peacefully and painlessly, but you don't want that to be in your 60s if you can avoid it and get to your 80s, maybe even 90s. If you can get extra, 20, 30 years of life because you wear something at night, that's not a bad thing.
Nobody wants to die of that or a slow death by a snail, chasing you down.
I'd do it for $10 million, but... point of the story is, if you know somebody in your life that you think might have this thing, don't go say, yeah, you snore too much, whatever. Be like Adam, just, hey, go get it checked out. Like,
Oh, I wasn't nice about it.
I know you weren't, but I'm telling our listeners. They might be talking to their spouses or other people.
Yeah, I mean, we've got that kind of friendship, and that's what I tell people. I've got people in my life say, "Hey, you're too brash. You need to tone it down." And I'm like, you know what? You're right. But most of my situation with people, I only have a finite amount of time. I only see people once a year, and they pay me for my advice. I don't have time to sugarcoat it. I like to tell people what they're doing well, but I also encourage them to do things better. And some people like it, hey, tell it to me like it's straight. Other people like you dancing. I don't have time to dance, We go right in and we do our thing.
So long story short, I got on the CPAP, hopefully extends his life. I've been on the CPAP, definitely more well-rested,
Yeah.
a lot better quality of life, hopefully extends my life. That's kind of a turn, but you can sell this crap too. So if you get into the used, sometimes people pass away.
And, I mean, sometimes. And that's the whole name of the show.
And the kids say, what are we going to do with Dad's old CPAP here? Now, you can't put it on eBay because it's a medical device, but if you go to like a classified ad or ask around, there's people that don't have the best insurance or whatever that will buy that CPAP off of you for a pretty good amount.
Yeah.
And you'll help them, and they'll help you, and it's just a nice thing.
Man, I'm excited about this Frank's collectible. Are there places that sell watches? Because I know a run friend, he's got a pretty good watch collection.
Oh, you can sell whatever, man. You go in there, the comic books. I mean, it was just insane.
So it's like a glorified swap meet, but you're not getting aftermarket, B grade.
No, it's that. Here's the thing.
Videos.
Here's the thing. It is like that, except for everybody knows the price, and you're paying full price.
Yeah.
Like you might negotiate a little bit, but you go and it's, hey, this is what things are going for. You're not going to find this anywhere. They know you're not going to find this anywhere else.
They know what they got.
Like, how much for that box of cards? And they pull it right up. It's going for $175. I'll sell it to you for $170. Stuff like that,
Yeah.
And you might be able to say, I'll give you $150 cash. Maybe, depending on, but you're going to be paying.
Yeah.
But there's also just stuff you're not going to, like, I'm sure your Tiger Woods stuff, I'm sure you find the right spot there. There's a guy selling tickets. He knows a guy. I'm just telling you, it's like streamlined. Like, you can go on eBay and compete against everybody, or you can go sourcing at garage sales and yard sales and storage units, and you're trying to find certain things, or you can just go to where, like, it's just there.
Yeah.
And you just say, hey, who sells this stuff? And you find the booth, and you go and say, I'm looking for this. And either they have it or they know who does. I mean, I was amazed. I was expecting to get into, like, kind of more of a little rinky-dink, kind of sales thing. And I went there, and I was just blown away. And I thought, even to myself, I'm like, how do I copy and do this somewhere else? But you need to have the volume of people to sustain
there's
it.
literally millions upon millions upon millions of people, where here we're, 3 million people maybe, and half of them are kids, and the next half of them are super cheap. And
I mean, you're talking about Legos. I mean, Nintendo video games, like DVD. Like, I'm just saying, whatever you were looking for,
it was there.
Old cards from I saw like Looney Tune cards from the '90s, but boxes of them too, not just like one or two, or just things. I mean, it was amazing. For somebody like us that does and likes what we like, it was pretty amazing. And like I said, my wife gave up at some point, just went to the car. So I kind of rushed a little more at the end, but I was still able to come out with, I think I did all right. There was a guy that had a box of cards. I actually bought a box 5 or 10 years ago of the same thing for like $300. And I opened them and did my thing. But he had a sealed box of them. The Monty Gum cards from like the 1980s with wrestling. It was made in Holland to sell in Saudi Arabia. Not a whole lot of them survived.
No.
Sealed box, you want like a couple grand for it, which is probably on course for what it should be. But just to have, just to see something like that at somebody's booth, I'm like, you got the Monty Gum stuff. He's like, yeah, that's hard to come by. I'm like, yeah, it's hard to come by. And that's me with my little niche. So whatever you're into, just imagine whatever you're into. It's probably there.
I think if we line this up right and we pitch it like that. I know the last time you guys really wanted a trip, I was at a convention in Dallas, and I missed out. Last year we went to Vegas with a smaller group. Loved it, great time. If we could get I know that we are planning on going to Wyoming. We had a trip in Wyoming. Our friend Jeffrey, he was on the list to maybe be there or not be there. I know there's some health issues now. But if we could plan this out long enough, maybe we'll get us a big, nice Suburban on the Toros. Maybe we get the whole text group together.
I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't disagree with you. I just don't know how much some of those people are into what we're into, because I know some are, but some would be there and be like, you guys are going to spend half a day in here doing what? But I guess they can find whatever I don't know, whatever turns their gears.
They could Uber over to the beach.
They can go find the Playboy cards and stuff and just be staring.
They can do their own. They can do their own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I think we got to get that in the works, man.
It's if you're anywhere in the western half, or if you're visiting Southern California and you're into like collectibles, go there. Like, just figure it out and get there.
Oh, there you go.
I was trying to tell our boy Painter was down there, like we were talking about. I think he was trying to get there. I don't think he ended up getting there. He had family, and the kids were going to go to the beach. He was going to Uber over, where it's only those 3 days. I'm not sure if he made it or not. But
I tried explaining something to my son. He wants to go to Washington, D.C. He wants to spend all this time at these museums. And he's like, oh, let's go there. Let's do all these things. I'm like, son, you have to understand, this is kind of like more of a me and you thing. Like, your other family members are not going to want to spend 4 hours in a library looking at books. Like,
doesn't do it.
40 minutes is probably your top. So you got to know your audience. You got to know your travel buddies.
100%.
So I think, that being said, my friend, there are two things in life that are for certain.
Oh, I didn't even get into where I was selling cards to the wrestling store.
We'll have to.
My goodness. I yes.
To be continued.
There's always more to come, Adam. The triplet keeps on giving.
To be continued.
Deathpiles and taxes.